Everyone, welcome to Mentee's Daily News Analysis. Today, the quote are from international relation perspective important that international politics, like all politics, is a struggle for power. A great deal of world politics is a fundamental struggle, but it is also a struggle that has to be waged intelligently. And today, there is a special announcement that you can join a Telegram channel at Mentee IS because from Monday onwards, you will be getting their prelims practice question for different subject. And moreover, this PDF analysis also you will get it from our Mentee IS Telegram channel. So today is 7th of July. Let's start with the news analysis. Today, all articles are a repetition of the news which has happened in the past week. We have been discussing and following the news. So today we'll see specifically what the article is all about and what is important for an exam perspective. So today first article is about India needs a uniform civil code is by M. Venkaiah Naidu, a former vice president of India. So what has been talked in the article is that India has many different religions, each one its own laws for marriage, divorce, adoption, inheritance and succession. But there is no UCC that applies to everyone, and because of that it has led to inequality and inconsistency in a diverse nation. And even we have seen that Prime Minister Narendra Modi recently called for UCC to be enacted because having different law for different citizens doesn't make any sense. And the idea of a UCC goes back to the debate in the Constituent Assembly, where leaders like B.R. Ambedkar argue that it is important for gender equality and even getting rid of social problem. Supreme Court also has spoken about UCC, saying that it would help the national integration. And implementing what would happen, it would safeguard our fundamental right, reduce social inequality, and ensure that the law is same for all the citizens. And in the way forward, it will be a way to create a unified legal framework that upholds the principle of constitution and promotes equality and justice for all. And it would empower women and eliminate discriminatory practices also. So let's say general studies to economy. Yesterday only we were seeing about the global acceptance of the rupee, that is internationalization of the rupee. So what benefits can happen is that making the Indian rupee more widely accepted internationally is seen as a good thing for the country's economy. And in the past, rupee was commonly used in the Gulf country, but its popularity decreased over time. And now currently there is not much demand for the rupee in global market compared to other currency. But now India is taking steps to encourage the use of rupee internationally, like allowing borrowing in rupee and promoting trade in rupee with certain country. And you know which accounts are being talked about. Now next is to make the rupee more popular globally. What we can do that we can make it easier to convert into other currency. We can create a stronger market for rupee bond and encourage business to use the rupee for international transactions. So next news is from General Studies to Economy. The effective implementation of the food security scheme must be the focus. And which scheme we are talking about? Open market sales scheme. So what was happened? The National Conference of Food Minister could not find a solution regarding the discontinuation of rice and wheat sale to state under the open market sales scheme due to center restriction. And this is because of these states requested the approval, which state Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Rajasthan requested the removal of these restrictions, but the center refused. And that's how all this controversy started. The controversy highlighted the need for the state to rely on their own resources for implementing food scheme and consider cost-effective option. But now, in way forward, what we can do is that instead of expanding the existing scheme, both the center and state should prioritize strengthening the PDS system to ensure effective distribution of the food grain. Now, next is current affairs, understanding the dark pattern. What was a dark pattern? Which used to manipulate user into making certain choices. But the legality here is very complex. Why? Because we can't distinguish a pattern between manipulation and fraud internet activities. So that can be challenging to tackle. And even now, Department of Consumer Affairs and even the Advertising Standard Council of India have recognized the issue of dark pattern, and they have urged the company to refrain from using such tactic. But now what is important is that it is necessary for Indian government to introduce new rules to or amend the existing rule to specifically address that pattern. Now next is general studies to international relation. What are the provisions of High Sea Treaty? But what is a High Sea Treaty? That on 19 June, the UN adopted the Marine Biodiversity Area beyond national jurisdiction, or what we call the High Sea Treaty. What was the aim of the treaty? To address critical issues such as increasing sea surface temperature, overexploitation of marine biodiversity, overfishing. And now many developed countries oppose the treaty as they stand by private entity which are at the forefront of advanced research. So now we have seen the story so far. What is a High Sea Treaty? Now, how it got started? The idea got emerged in 2002, and by 2008, their need was recognized, and finally, a treaty was adopted in 2023. And the objective was to protect life in ocean beyond national jurisdiction. So, this is all what the provisions of the High Sea Treaty. Now, next is General Studies 1, Art and Culture. The quiz has been given. So, what you have to do is that go to your Nitin Singhania book and revise the music chapter and see different terms related to music, which is important from art and culture. Now, what the questions has been asked is that this vocal technique involved gradual glide between two adjacent notes, that is a gamak, that what we call gamak. The musical term is used to describe the rhythmic cycle or time cycle in Indian classical music, we call as talam. This term is used to describe the melodic framework in Indian classical music, that is rag. The classical music of form of India is associated predominantly with the northern part of India, that is Hindustani classical music. And this city in the Bhojpur Purvanchal region hosts an annual music festival. Which city has been talking about? That is Varanasi. So today in the vocab section we have a word of the day, that is rambunctious, which means noisy and lacking in restraint or discipline. And how it is used is that the teacher had a hard time controlling his the rambunctious student. So this is the vocab section. Next is, yesterday we have seen about that Chandrayaan 3 is about to get launched, but ISRO had not given the date, but now the date has been given. It is 14th July. The takeoff will happen around 2:35 p.m. Now next is General Studies 3 Economy, that Finance Ministry pushes for reform to spur FDI. What is FDI? Foreign direct investment. When a company takes control in a business entity in another country. So when FDI comes in a country, it doesn't just bring money, it brings skills and technical expertise also. And two ways FDI can come. One is automatic, that you don't need government approval, and the other is government approval. So that is true. And various sectors are there in automatic and in government approval. So this was today's analysis. I hope you like this video. So please like and share and subscribe to Mentee Academy. Thank you. Have a nice day. Thank you.